5,000 chips here, or 6,000, doesn't matter. He called 6,000 chips. I obviously, okay, maybe he didn't want me to have me in the pot, but you know, there's the big stack in the pot, so he can call because he's playing under the protection of the big stack. Because even if I shove, I guess either he or he could call, but he doesn't think about it this way. So he wants to isolate here with his king queen. But let's suppose he just calls. Okay, now he just has called. Okay. Now there's an ace on the board. Where is it? There it is. So there's an ace and there's a flush draw. Let's suppose now the big stack bets 10,000 and he shoves. For me, then it's cleared this guy has an ace. And he still will probably call, but he has more equity to make some play post flop. Because if he shoves all in and the other guy calls, you lose your magic, you lose the art of poker, you lose the post flop play, which most of good players, they want to play post flop because they can outplay people, you know. And why? But because you always have overcards, you always have scary cards coming. You see, I mean, he could have gotten away with a blue eye, you know, with a bloody nose, but probably not. But I mean, I think it would have been the right play to maybe. I maybe would have even folded. No, probably I would not have folded the hand. It's difficult to say. But if he just calls the 5,000 more, 6,000 more, he still has a lot of chips left. Yeah, it's difficult to say. I mean, if you're in his shoes, probably you're going to do the same thing. But you know, as I mentioned, maybe you'd rather wait out somebody else busts and you move up a spot and you wait for a better spot, wait for a better hand. Okay, I don't know. It's people mix it up and sometimes they do mistakes. See, here I steal, as I said before. Here I get a walk. Let's see. So I remember this. We were both constantly abusing this guy here. We were like tornadoes on his back, you know. He couldn't. He checks, I check. He bets, I call. He checks, I bet, he folds. Let's go over this hand. Funny hand. Okay, he limps. I'll just check. I have 7-9, connected card. I can hit something. Now there's this ugly flop, 8, 6, 7 of clubs. He checks. Now I think, okay, if he has clubs, he checks. Because if he bets, I fold, obviously, unless I have also clubs. So he wants to get chips out of me. He wants to let me bet, probably. But I check. And now there's even more scary card. But if he doesn't have a club, he must be afraid that I have a club. But I'm also afraid he has a club. So everybody was a bit afraid. And then he bets this weak bet there, which he never did. He mostly bet big when he had it. So he bets half pot there. I'll just call. I have a 7. I mean, what's going on? And then there's the queen coming. Now I thought to myself, oh Jesus, he probably has the queen, or he just got the queen or something. He hit it. He checks again. Now I bet so small. It looks so much like a value bet. And I mean, he can. This is not a problem for him to call. You know, I mean, if I bet here 9,000, he might call because it looks like a bluff. So I wanted to make it small to make him call, but he folds still. Maybe I should make the opposite. Maybe I should, you know, bet bigger here, or too big. But obviously I don't want to do that, because if he has a 3 of clubs, he's still winning. And if he calls, he's still winning. So I just make this kind of a smallish value bet. If he reshoves me here all in, I have to fold. But I still have 35,000 chips. But normally you shouldn't bet a medium strength hand on the river, because you see you're not going to get called by anything else than the nuts. If he has a club, he calls this small of a bet. So there's no value in betting this small. And even betting big there's no value, because I'm gonna get shoved by a club, I'm gonna get repopped, or I'm gonna get called by a club and I still lose. So you see, I should have checked behind, and that would have been the same thing, but I guess I have to learn a lot still. And so now he's down to 13,000, and let's see, he's losing chips there. He's bleeding chips all over the place. He gives me a walk, and now I have king queen, the same hand. But you see, this is a completely different story. He's a small stack, he can't kill me. So I just shove my king queen on him and he folds. Now I fold my 3 jack, because I didn't want to limp. He shoves and he reshoves, I lose more chips. He just calls, he has ace queen. And he hits the straight, which is a normal thing. You hit your straights every time. When you have no chips, you hit your straights. He folds, he gives me the walk. Now he raises to 6,000, I just fold. Queen 9, I just fold. King 5, I fold. He goes all in, he calls, ace king, ping pong boom, this is done. So we're heads up. We're heads up, and he has 4 times the chips I have, which is not very good for me. But let's see how I manage to get out of this situation. If I get out of it at all. I won't tell. So first hand, did he give me a walk? Yeah, I think he gave me the walk. Yes. Second hand, I raise him, he folds. Deuce 6, he raises, I fold. I didn't defend my button enough in this heads up, but I also have to look at my hand, because he has so many chips. He can afford to call loosely and throw me out, hitting his, I don't know, his 9 or his 10 or his queen or his jack or whatever. So I have to pick my hands. I can't get crazy. I have to be clever. I cannot waste chips. I have to be very, very careful with my chips, which I did. Here I just limp. At the beginning of the heads up, I was feeling out what he would do if I'd limp. I limp, he raise, I fold. So this I could use against him, maybe at a later point. Now he raises, and I call him. It's not, I already have invested a couple of chips, and I just have to invest 3,000 more to win 9,000, which is 3.3 to 1. I do it, but there's nothing for me. And here I check. He bets. Yeah, here I could have bet, but if I bet here I have to bet 9,000 or something. And then he repops me and I have to fold anyway. So I thought to myself, I'd just check and give it up, because I hit nothing. It's kind of hit to bet poker. It's not very strong poker, but you must understand I have no chips, so I have to be careful also. Here I just limp my ace 10, he raises me, I shove. So you see here I get value, because you see now I already used it against him the first time, as I mentioned before. I just limp my button with a strong hand. He raises me, because he does that all the time. He did it all the time. It made me sick, but I use it against the guy. He does not have to have a better ace than me here. Surely this hand is better than any random hand he can have. I could have raised to 20,000, but it's the same as shoving. Because if he calls and there's queen something board, or I don't know what, and I don't hit, what I'm gonna do then? So I prefer to shove and have the most fold equity, and I pick up 9,000 chips.